What's up, YouTube? It's the Action Figure Grader coming back to you with another video, this time focused on vintage Star Wars mint-on card sales, everything from 12 backs all the way to the Ewoks line from 1985-ish, and lots of really nice Return of the Jedi cards, some transition cards, things like that. So let's go ahead and dig right in. First of all, we have got from Brian's Toys, a pretty well-known seller. He had a 12-back A Stormtrooper. Very early Stormtrooper, graded AFA 75, straight 75s for the subscores, and it was at auction, and it sold for $1,072 plus $8 shipping, and I thought that price was pretty great. I mean, it had, you know, some litho issues on the back there, as you can see, which was probably the main detractor and why it got the 75, but overall, a pretty beautiful item. The weapon was still inside the blister, or inside the figure's hand, inside the blister. Nice and clean figure, very white still. And an excellent example. It was punched with no price sticker. But $10.72, I mean, after some of the prices we saw at Hakes for some of these early card backs, to me, that's probably right in line with market. Next up, same seller, Brian's Toys. He had an AFA 60 12-back A Farm Boy, Luke Farm Boy. And, you know, again, it was low grade, but it's a 12-back A, and it's a Farm Boy, so you know it's going to go for big money. The sub-scores were 70, 60, 75, so that blister score really brought it down. It was unpunched, but a very clean example, just lower grade, you know, and $14.25 plus $8 shipping. Is that price fair? I don't know. I would assume so, just relative to some of the really expensive higher grade examples that have sold here recently. So beautiful item, and you know, you're going to pay up. It's a 12-back A Farm Boy. Whether it's an AFA 60 or an AFA 70 or 80, you're going to be in the $1,000 plus range for sure. And once you get into the 80s, you're probably talking more like $3,000. So I think that price was probably fair for an AFA 60. 20-back A Jawa. It was graded AFA 75. The subscores were 75, 85, 85. It was punched. It looks like it had a little bit of litho damage in the upper left-hand corner from where a price sticker was removed, but nice crystal clear blister, and that one sold for $9.90 plus $8 shipping. Now, it used to be you could get an AFA 80 plus or 85 even for close to that number, maybe like $1,000, maybe as high as $1,200. So $9.90 seems maybe just a tad high for that one relative to the other two, but you know, it's just kind of the market for these early card backs. You know, as a reference point, you know, I got a 20-back G Death Star droid for a little bit less than this price. So, you know, first 12 figures on those 20 backs, you know, they clearly command a premium, given that this was only an AFA 75. But just another data point there. Staying with Jawas, we've got a 20-back Laga des Etoiles Meccano rectangle card, and it was a fairly low grade if memory serves. It was an AFA 60. The card got an 80. Blister got a 60, figure got an 85. These blisters are known to be super fragile. They can crack very, very easily. This blister was also yellowed, so just keep that in mind. But it was unpunched. Beautiful example, though. I just love that those square Meccano cards. They just really present nicely. That one sold for 593 Canadian dollars, which is 442 US. Now, we just documented one that I believe was a yellowed 80 or 80 plus that sold on Hakes for about double that price. So to me, for a little bit lower grade, a lot lower grade actually, you know, that's probably in line with market these days. I don't know, but a pretty nice example. I thought this was a pretty good price. This one was a mint-on card Slave 1 diecast, and you know, it was not graded, and it certainly had you know, some condition issues. As you can see, it had a big crease going across the entire middle of the front of the card. Blister was yellowed. It had some crinkling down there in the lower left-hand corner, but it was listed for 500 Australian dollars, which is 334 US, and the best offer that was accepted was 450 Australian dollars, which is under $300 for a mint-on card diecast Slave 1. I mean, I know, again, it's pretty low grade, but to get anything like that mint-on card for sub $300, I think is a really good buy, and that was down in Australia. Next up, we've got the debut card for Luke Skywalker in his Hoth battle gear. It was an AFA 75 plus. It was a yellowed blister, but just slightly, and it was also punched. That one sold for $330 on 17 bids plus $12.75 shipping. That's a pretty good buy in my mind. You know, a clear blister can set you back easily double that, if not triple that price. And for a 75 plus for that price, I think that's a really good buy. Staying with Luke Skywalker Hoth, we've got the 48 back free Revenge of the Jedi offer, and let's see, this one was the 48 back B. So I believe, memory serves me, that the 48 back Bs were actual stickers that were stuck onto the card, and then the 48C went to printed Revenge of the Jedi offers, actually printed on the card. So don't quote me on that, but I think that's correct. But this one was a AFA yellowed 80, all 80 subscores with an archival case. Pretty nice example overall. A little bit of litho kind of residue in the upper right-hand corner. It was listed for $750 plus $20 shipping, and the best offer that was accepted was $700. So again, it's a 48 back Luke Hoth. It's one of the main characters. It's high grade, even though it is slightly yellowed. I think that's probably in line with market, to be honest with you. I think that's a really nice item. Next up was a Return of the Jedi AFA 80 Plus tripod laser cannon mini rig, mint and sealed box, and I thought that price was pretty good, $226.50 plus $11.85 shipping. Very high grade, mint and sealed box. I mean, you know, to me, I think that's probably in line, given that ungraded these can go for $100 to $150 very, very easily. So to get one graded at an 80 plus grade, to me, that's a pretty good buy. Next up, we're going to go with Lee's Toy Review again. Again, I don't know this seller. I've never bought from this seller, but he had a number of different Return of the Jedi card backs that were for sale. Everything from the transition card free Neonum offers all the way to 77 backs. So we're going to go through a lot of those right now. Now, this was the Jawa, but it was a damaged card, as he pointed out, and it had the proof of purchase cut out in the lower right-hand corner on the back. So keep that in mind. So that sold for $200. Now, let's say that this is near mint plus, no proof of purchase cut out. You could probably 3 times, if not maybe even 4 times that price. Transition cards, they don't have any Return of the Jedi characters on these cards. It's only Empire Strikes Back and Star Wars characters that were on this 48 back. So you're going to pay a premium for them, and this one just was held down in price because of the proof of purchase being cut out. I thought this was a great buy. This was the same card back, the free Neonum 48 back, Star Destroyer Commander, clear blister, unpunched, no price sticker, probably a low grade 80 overall. And let's see, here's a side profile there. Very clean card overall. I think it would hit the 80. I'm pretty sure it would hit the 80 grade. And $311.77 plus $12 shipping. I would have paid that all day long for a very clean example of the Star Destroyer Commander. You also, on the other end of the spectrum, as to what I would not pay all day long, is this one, the Hammerhead, unpunched, and same card back, clear blister. A beautiful item. I'm not trying to say it's not beautiful, but $13.60 was the sales price on that. I'm not paying that. I'm sorry. And, you know, my memory could be wrong on this, but I feel like this is a relist. I thought that this seller already listed this one previously, and maybe the buyer didn't pay. Maybe there's something weird going on. I don't know. But $13.60 took it home this time, and that price just seems astronomical. I mean, I was thinking more like $700, maybe $800. But, you know, it is an awesome card back. The Neonum sticker there, it really presents nicely. The blue really kind of corresponds nicely with the blue body on Hammerhead, but $13.60 is just insane. I mean, you can get a really high grade 21 back for that price, and there's no way I'm paying that anywhere close to that price. Same seller also had a 65 back Boba Fett, and it was very yellow blister. It had some litho damage above the hang tab there. It did have the Lionel price sticker. Pretty clean example overall. That one sold for $17.76 plus $12 shipping. Boba Fett mint on card prices seem to be creeping their way down a little bit. Even on Hakes, very high grade examples for the yellow blister Return of the Jedi card backs, they came in a little bit lower than I expected and lower than the Hakes kind of estimate. And so I was surprised that this one sold for that low. And then the same seller also had the 77 back that was unpunched, very clean, and that one sold for $16.77, which I thought was a great price. Kind of a weird blister, though. You can see on the left-hand side there, it looked like the heat seal that was used to stamp the blister to the card back. It had kind of a wonky thing going on there, so I'm not sure what happened there. But, is it a reseal? Potentially. I don't know. The market seemed to think it was okay, though, since $16.77 is a big number for a reseal. So, but it's something to think about. It's just it looked a little wonky to me. And again, it could just be a factory error, but very clean overall. This one, to me, looked cleaner than the 65 back, but obviously a different card back. You know, it had the space scene for Boba Fett versus the desert scene. And, you know, this one was in much better condition, in my opinion, with the exception of that weird blister seal right there on the left-hand side, even on the right-hand side, too. So that probably held the price back a little bit. But $16.77 took that one home. Next up was a 65 back B, I believe. It's usually the B for the Cloud Car Pilot. Nope, it's a 65 back A. 65 back A Cloud Car Pilot. It was a very slightly yellowed blister, unpunched. That one sold for $181. I thought that was a great price. $12 shipping. You know, the weapons were still sealed inside the blister. Probably would get a low-grade yellowed 80. And to me, again, this is another example of that strategy that you use where really hot items like that Boba Fett were being auctioned off at the exact same time as maybe more common items. And the Cloud Car is not super common on the 65 back, but it is pretty readily available. And to get that for, you know, let's call it $200, that's a pretty good price. Likewise was this one, the 77 back Han Solo, clear blister as well. It did have 2 price stickers on it, and it was punched, but $526 for a clear blister Han 77 back with the alternate card image. That's a good buy right there. I thought that was a really good buy, and well below current market prices for Han. And I was just curious if you had anything. Figure hair sparkles a little, so it did have some maybe mold that's starting to grow on the figure. Nice shape overall. Blister is clear and dent-free. Item has never been removed. Card is factory sealed. So you can see right there, it's got some frosting going on the head there. Let's see if we can get a better angle. Right here is a good angle. You can see the frosting on the head. Now, again, we've talked about this, that you could put it in under a UV lamp or out in the sunshine, and it'll take that mold off. I've heard some people say it comes back. I've heard other people say it's never come back for them. So, but that's a really good deal. I think $526 for that item. That's a good buy. Next up was a 77 back Han Solo in his Hoth battle gear. It was a heavily yellowed blister with 2 price stickers, and it was punched. Overall, very clean card. The weapon was still attached inside the blister. No cracks to the blister. That sold for $283 plus $12 shipping. And then Chewbacca with the alternate image, 77 back. Again, a yellowed blister, and again very punched card back, but just some light edge wear to it. But you know, that's an alternate image card, and for $386 plus $12 shipping, to me that's a pretty good buy, assuming that blister was as clean as it looks. I mean, it didn't have any cracks or anything like that. But you know, it's just, you know, anything alternate image you're going to pay a little bit more for. But to me, that price came in a little bit lower than I expected. I would have guessed more like $500 for that one. Next up, we've got a Dengar on a very yellowed 77 back with the free Anakin Skywalker offer, and that was an unpunched card, very clean overall. That one sold for $108, $108 for a mint and sealed card Dengar. You know, again, it was heavily yellowed, so that detracts from it a little bit, but $108 is cheap. That's a really good price. And then IG-88, again, it was an unpunched card, 77 back, no price sticker, but just slightly yellowed. This is one that you can usually find clear blister for whatever reason. The figure doesn't interact with that blister that much, and you can often find this one clear blister. $356 took that one home, plus $12 shipping. I think that's very, very in line with market. A clear blister is going to set you back probably $550 to $600. So $356 for a slightly moderately yellowed blister. I think that's very fair. Next up was an AFA 40 Imperial Gunner last 17 figure, so a very low grade, but it is mint on card. That sold for $480 plus $12.75 shipping. The subgrades were 50, 40, 85. So the card was pretty heavily creased there, and you can see the crease that goes all the way up from the top to the bottom of the card back, and then the blister had quite a bit of damage as well. But you know, again, $480, that's probably pretty fair. I mean, you know, ungraded. Those can command $300 just loose figure by itself. So to me, $480 for that is probably pretty fair if you can live with the low grade. And then finally, speaking of low gray, we've got low gray on the Ewoks card. This was an unpunched example, and it was a UKG 80%. The subgrades were 75, 85, 90. This one's usually pretty expensive, and then this was also a clear blister, which is nice. That one sold for 385 pounds, which equates to about 460 US dollars plus shipping. And I thought that was a great buy. I mean, this, 6-9 months ago, this was probably more like 600 to 650. So 450, 460 for that. Clear blister, UKG 80%. I think that's a good buy. Really good deal on that one. So anyway, just some more mint on card sales here. I wanted to kind of clear up my watch list, so to speak. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you liked it, please like and subscribe for future content. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll be back soon.